you feel light. As if you've done something spiritual, you've done something so holy, it's been accepted. Compare that to when you come back from school. You feel down, you're tired. Yeah? It's not a place of spiritual, exercise, is it? Whereas a masajid is. The masjids are. So when you leave from a masjid, every one of us experiences this. You only need to tap into it up there. But when I leave the masjid, you feel better, you feel light. And the reason is because when you're under this roof of Noor, automatically it inspires through your heart and you feel that impact. Tonight we're here because we want to learn regarding the signs of the Day of Judgment. Okay, but before we go into the signs, which is on this side, the majors and the minors, we'll do all of that. But at the moment, let's do a bit of theory. Why do we as Muslims believe in the Day of Judgment? I could have put down all the answers, but I wanted to keep it a bit interactive, yeah? I want answers from you guys. So, hands up. As Muslims, why must we believe, or why do we believe in the Day of Judgment? Why? Hands only hands. I want everyone to have an opportunity. The first hand there. Bismillah. What's your name? Hasnain. Hasnain, go for it. Why do we Muslims believe in the Day of Judgment?
Because there's hadith about it.
Because, okay, we have hadith. We all know what hadith is, yeah?
Yeah.
What the Prophet ﷺ said. So because the Prophets told us, we believe in it. Okay? Any other reason why do we believe in the Day of Judgment? Yep.
It says it in the Quran.
It says in the Quran. Perfect. Okay, that's the two easy ones taken. Let's go a bit more deep now. Let's get serious. Why do we believe in the Day of Judgment? I want everyone to think hard. Why? Go on. What's your name?
Hamza.
Hamza ji.
It's one of the 6 pillars of Iman.
One of the 6 tenets of Iman. Well, one of the 7 really. Yep. From Iman, yep, we must have faith upon it. That's one of the easy ones done. Come on guys, I want you to think a bit hard. Why do we really need to believe in the Day of Judgment? Don't feel shy. Even if it's wrong, if you think you're wrong, I'll support it, help you turn into something positive. We'll make something good out of it. Go on. What's your name first? Give me your name first.
Musa.
Musa, go on.
And because we're Muslims and we know that we won't always last in the earth, so we all need to die.
Good. Now we're getting a bit deep. Because we know that there is life after death. Yeah? Okay, life after death. Okay, life after death. Yep. You've had your hand up. Your name first?
Bilal.
Bilal. Got some beautiful names, you know. Bilal, Musa, Hasnan. Yeah? Go on.
It's like a reward, I guess, for being Muslim.
Yep. I'll call it, let me put it in my own terms. It's results day. Okay. You know why I say results day? Because you work hard in life, don't you? You're doing all your salah, your Quran, you're in the masjid, all these righteous deeds that you're doing. And you want to know how you've done. It's like, okay, put your hands up if you've done GCSEs or you're preparing for GCSEs. Yeah, Zishan, yeah, few of the hands here, you're preparing for GCSEs. Okay. What's the point of doing GCSEs if, let's suppose, the exam board told you nobody's going to get results? Would you bother with GCSEs? No. Same way as Muslims. It's a results day for us. If we work so hard as a Muslim, yeah, I'm not committing sin. I'm not drinking alcohol. I ain't got a girlfriend. I'm not messing around. I'm not cheating with anyone. I'm pleasing my Lord in every way possible. So when I'm keeping away from all those temptations and desires, I want results. I've worked hard. I need my reward. That's the Day of Judgment. So it's the day where we get rewarded for our good work and hard and the efforts we put in. Another, go on. Let's go a bit more deep. Go on.
Is it because everything that happens that's bad, Allah makes it happen?
Everything that happens for a reason. That's true. But let's stick to the subject. Why must we believe in the Day of Judgment? Come on guys, I want you to go a bit more deep. I've got some notes here as well, which I'll share with you guys. Okay? Let me help you out here then. Okay, go on.
says it in Imani, Mufassal.
Part of Iman.
Alright.
Yep, we got it. Come on guys, anything else before I start giving out some answers? Why must we believe in the Day of Judgment? Why must? It's a must, isn't it? Why must? Your name first? Hamad. Bismillah.
For justice.
Justice, okay, I'll put it down because it's a different word being used. It's kind of results day, isn't it? Yeah? But it's 100% correct. Justice. You know why it's justice? Because I'll quickly mention it so that you guys understand what I'm saying. Let's suppose, and I often give the example of Hitler. Yeah? Out of Hitler, we know he killed around just above 5 million Jews. Yeah? If I've killed an individual and qisas, which is blood money, only makes sense that, you know, my life be taken for a life for a life, yeah? He's killed 6 million and you just take the life of one. Is that justice?
No.
He's taken 5 million and you're just going to kill one? Does that do justice to the 5 million? Of course it doesn't. So we say the reason why we must believe in the Day of Judgment as Muslims is because justice. So the 5 million that he's killed on the Day of Judgment, he will be accountable for every single one of them. Ala hadha al-qiyas, which means upon that analogy, bring it to us now. Leave Hitler out for now. When we do bad and we've got away with it. For example, at school, you've hit someone, you've pushed someone, or you've done something to their properties. Maybe their pen, pencil, phone, book, textbook, whatever. You've destroyed it, ruined it, and you got away with it. Yeah? Your teachers never found out, your friends never found out, no one found out, but you got away with it. Is it fair that you get away with it?
No.
Somebody should pay for it. Somebody's going to be asked, why should he get away with it? So we say, even if you get away with it now, fair enough. But in the court of Allah, Maliki Yawmiddin, He's a sovereign Lord of the Day of Judgment. And those that attend my weekend class, last week this is what we were discussing in quite some detail. The week before. Allah is the sovereign Lord. He's the most powerful one of the Day of Judgment, Malik. Yeah? And the reason why He's a Malik is because He's going to establish justice. And if everyone's doing anything wrong to you, not times your friends get away by doing wrong thing. Yeah? And you couldn't speak up. You had no proof. But you believe from the bottom of your heart, you know what? He definitely did it, but I can't convince my parents or my teachers. Yeah? Never mind if you can't convince them now. You have the Day of Judgment. Yeah? You mention it to Allah. And Kiraman katibina ya'lamuna ma taf'alun. The angels are writing everything down. Nothing goes unnoticed in the court of Allah. Yeah? So if you feel bad at times or let down, that nobody helped me, nobody supported me, and I couldn't really get my way, you'll have it with Allah. Don't worry. He'll be there for you in the Day of Judgment. Okay, any other reasons why must we believe in the Day of Judgment? Come on guys. Alright, here we go. We have accountability. One of the reasons why we believe in the Day of Judgment is so that we can be mentally prepared. Mentally prepared. So why do we have the signs of the last hour? Referring to that. So we can mentally be prepared for when it does happen. As Muslims, we're not shocked. Whoa, that came out of nowhere. I didn't know that was going to happen so early. When all the hadith, the Quran, and so many other aspects describe to us exactly how and what will happen towards the Day of Judgment. The minor signs and the major signs. They describe to you so that you know all too well, there's no reason for you to complain. Oh Allah, I didn't know, that came as a shock. You surprised me with the Day of Judgment. No. As a Muslim, you can't say to Allah, you surprised me. Because Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam has given us all those answers. Given us all the signs. And another point which I've got here is, part of believing in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he is a prophet of Allah. Yeah? Part of believing in that is that he's given us all the signs of the Day of Judgment. If he was not a prophet, he would not be able to give us those answers. Do you get it? If he was not a prophet, he could never give us these answers. And the fact that he has given us all the majors and the minor signs, in itself is evidence that he has to be a prophet of Allah. And by extension to that, if today somebody claims to be a prophet of Allah, which signs has he brought with? What does he have to say regarding the signs of the Day of Judgment? How can he add to that? Nothing. So that's why we believe in the Khatmun Nubuwwah, the finality of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Another reason why we believe in the Day of Judgment is, or the signs, is because it helps us understand the Sharia. That many rulings of Islam that have been understood because the Prophet ﷺ described towards the signs of the Day of Judgment. Yeah? That's a separate discussion, but I won't go into that theory. But when we say the signs of the Day of Judgment, one thing I want everyone to take home tonight is that only Allah knows. Only, who knows?
Allah.
Only Allah knows ultimately when exactly the Day of Judgment is going to take place. Alimul Ghaib, yeah, he has the knowledge of the unseen, and from those knowledges of the unseen is when exactly the Day of Judgment will take place. Our messenger, our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what do we all say? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he knew all the signs. Yeah, some also believe he knew when it will happen, but he didn't disclose it. Why did he not tell us the exact date? Why do you think he never told us the exact date? For example, 2555, let's say. Yeah? Why did he not give us an exact date? Gee.
So we would know that we should be prepared.
Exactly. So we can continue preparing. If he gave us a date, go on, let's put that date on. Year 2555. Yeah? We're in 2021. Let's imagine if that was the date given by the Prophet, peace be upon him. You know what would happen? We'd stop doing our salah. We'll stop doing our fasting. And we'll stop doing our hajj. And we'll disregard our religion as a whole because we know, it's a long time yet. Chill out. Yeah, relax. What's the tension here? Chill out, it's a long way to go yet. But the reason why he didn't disclose this to us because he knows we have to continue working hard. And I've got a hadith written here from Sahih Bukhari. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, بُعِثْتُ أَنَا وَالسَّاعَةُ كَهَاتَيْنِ. He said, I and the Day of Judgment have been sent together just like these two fingers. And this is exactly what the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did. He lifted the two fingers, joined them together, and you see the difference between the two? That's the difference between me and the Day of Judgment. I right after the other. As soon as I leave, straight away the next major thing that's going to happen on earth is the Day of Judgment. No more prophets to come. Yeah? I will emphasize that and again, there are no more prophets to come. But the one thing we do know is the next thing to come is what? The Day of Judgment. Okay. And we have lots of detail about it. There's a hadith from Abu Huraira and the Prophet's cousin, Mawla Ali, Sher Khuda, Ali ibn Abi Talib. And he says, he's given us so much detail, I can't describe it to a majority of you because you're underage. Yeah? You're underage to even hear this stuff because that's how much detail we do have. But regardless of all of that, what we want to discuss today is the major signs and the minor signs. But one thing I'll share with you. In one of the hadiths, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, the signs or Dajjal will only come, the hadith says. The words of the hadith, Dajjal will only come when there is hatred amongst the humans. And when there is lack of religious commitment amongst the Muslims. That means, when we as whole, look at this group right now, all of you young faces, yeah? Beginning from about, who's 10 years old? 10? Anybody 9? We've got 1 9? Anybody 8? 1 8? Okay. 8 plus, that's the right age range. And the eldest we have here, 16, 17, 18, 19, maybe more. Yeah? Just look around yourself. Look around. Okay. The Prophet ﷺ said, Dajjal will only come. Note this down. For those that are making notes. Dajjal will only come when there is a lack of religious commitment. When we take our religion too easy. When we become, as you say, passive Muslims. Not active Muslims. Active Muslim is one who's doing his daily 5 salahs. When it comes to the month of Ramadan, regardless whether he's got PE or not, he's going to continue to fast on that day. Yeah? When it comes to zakah, he's not afraid to give zakah, because if you've got your own money at home, let's say you've got pocket money, and it's more than £50, you have to pay zakah on it. Yeah? How many people are aware of that? You have to give zakah upon it. Yeah? And if Hajj is further upon you, you must do Hajj within those 3 years whilst you have that money. Beyond that, major sins, minor sins, we take for granted. We look at so much filth, so many dirty things. We hear so many dirty things. You know you're not supposed to be listening to it, you listen to it. You know you shouldn't be going on those websites, you're going on those websites. Yeah, you know you shouldn't be in those, you shouldn't have those friends. Yet you still make friends with them. You know you shouldn't be doing particular activities. Yet you still do it behind closed doors, or whether it's with your friends. Yeah? All of this you do because lack of religious commitment. Because you become a passive Muslim. Don't worry about it, man. It's fine. Bro, it's only a salah. You'll get over it. Yeah? It's only one fast out of 30. I'm sure Allah's more so merciful. He's going to forgive you, isn't he? Yeah? When we have this type of attitude, or you commit sin with the intention, I'll make tawbah after it. Yeah? How many fall into this trap? Don't show me your hands, please. How many of us fall into that trap? You know what, let me just commit this sin one more time, and then I'll make tawbah. Yeah? Oh Allah, I promise you, just one more time I'm going to do it, and then I'll never do it again. When we start doing such intentional sin, with intention, I'll make tawbah after it, that's lack of religious commitment. That's when we start to take the religion too easy. Yeah? And for such people, there is no forgiveness. Because you're taking Allah's mercy for granted, you're taking the mick. You know you say you take the mick? Yeah? You understand that phrase, don't you?
Yeah.
That's what you do with Allah, you take the mick. When you know I'm doing this wrong, but you know what, I'll make tawbah afterwards, don't worry. That's lack of commitment. And the Prophet ﷺ said, that's exactly when Dajjal will come. And that's when people are taking the religion too easy. Okay? That being said, the signs of the day of judgment then, let's move on, which is what you guys really want to get down to. The major and minor signs. Yeah? Yeah, I'll go 50 minutes. Plenty of time. The Prophet ﷺ told us his major and minor signs. The major signs, remember, will only take place when? Let's see who knows. When will the major signs start to take place? Go on.
On the day of judgment.
No. This is before. Go on.
After all the minor signs of judgment.
After all the minor signs, of course. But go on.
When the Dajjal comes.
When the Dajjal comes, yep.
In the last hour.
No, before that. Remember, when we say signs of the last hour, all of these signs, yeah, will happen before the day of judgment actually takes place. Yeah? So before the bombshell, there's going to be a build-up. There's going to be a lead. And that lead will be first starting with minors, and then right towards the end, some scholars say around roughly 40 years. Yeah? Roughly 40 years before the bombshell itself. That's when the majors will start to take place, one after the other. But all of these signs, another hadith, before we start to describe these, for those that are making notes. Prophet ﷺ said these signs will start to fall so rapidly, just like beads fall off a tasbih. Yeah, put your hand up if you've broken a tasbih. Say you all done it. Yeah? By accident, of course by accident, but we know what we're talking about. So when the tasbih breaks, what happens when you accidentally lift it? All the beads just start falling one after the other and all gone. Yeah? Then you got to spend 5 minutes picking them all up. Okay. Prophet ﷺ said these minor signs and the majors together, exactly like that tasbih when it breaks, and all those beads start to fall one after another rapidly. That's the example he gave of the Day of Judgment starting to take place. Okay. We have, can the guys in the back see how many minor signs? Only the back? 130, okay. So your eyesight is good. 130 minor signs. And major signs, there are 10. Let's go around the room. Okay, of which, you know what? I'll share this thing as well with you. So far, give or take, more or less, come or base, like we say in Urdu. Of these 130, we can arguably say 80 of them have already taken place. How many?
80.
And roughly we'll say, give or take, about 45 still remain. Or these 45 are those that there are different opinions whether it's happened or not. But 80 of them, that's majority. Yeah? Majority have taken place. We're not too far away, really. But how far? Only Allah knows. You know, the Prophet said, Kaha'atayn, like 2 fingers. That's all that's left. It's been 1400 years. Yeah? Let's go around the room. Minor signs. Anybody know some of the minor signs? There's loads. So many. Look, I've got a book here. And I can confirm any that you give me right now. And we'll note them down as well. The minor signs. Let's go around. Who knows? Some minor signs. Go on.
I'm not 100% sure about that.
Nobody's 100% sure.
I left home. Well, actually,
Come on. Yeah? Here we are. Go on. Bismillah. Your name first?
Musa,
Musa, go on.
a drop.
Droughts will become common. Go on, back to you.
The mother will give birth to a mistress.
The mother will give birth to her master. Yeah? And that refers to children becoming dominant and children getting it their way. Yeah? Where you insist and your parents have no choice but to do what the child wants. And some children abuse that. You ring social services, you tell them I don't like my parents, they'll come and take you away. Out of fear, parents won't do anything, they again and touch you. Yeah, that's not what I'm teaching, but it's a sign of the Day of Judgment. When we start to take things in our own hand, go on.
When the Dajjal comes.
Haji?
When the Dajjal comes.
The jar is from the major signs. We'll discuss that later. Minor signs, go on. Your name?
Music will get popular.
Music will become common. Yes, is that not what we're seeing? Yeah. Every time you turn your laptop on, what's the first thing you hear? Music. You just want to turn your phone on. My phone's always on silent for life. But when you turn the phone on, what happens? Yeah? There's music that's going to be played. You can't sit in your car and you turn your ignition on and first thing you hear, ding, ding, ding. Yeah, it's going to take place. Music has become common. It's everywhere now. There's no way you can avoid it. Yeah? You try your level best to avoid. Because you need to show your commitment to Allah. But beyond that, what's not in your control is not in your control. Okay, any of the minor signs? Come on, I've got 130, come on. No hands. Go on, you again.
Drinking alcohol.
Alcohol becoming common. You're probably young at this moment, at this time. Go to colleges, universities. Muslims are drinking alcohol right now. And this is not new. I went to uni 10 years ago. I saw Muslim brothers attending nightclubs. I saw them walking in and out. And I saw them having alcohol. I saw them completely drunken out of it. KO. Because they've drunk so much. Don't say it's only a kafir thing. The non-Muslims do that. Muslims are drinking it. It's being sold in Muslim countries. It's now being sold in Saudi Arabia. Yeah? Sad state. But it's becoming so common. That's a sign of the Day of Judgment. Go on.
Time will pass rapidly.
Time will pass rapidly. That's exactly what we're noticing. Everything's becoming so fast. Life has become so short. Yeah, you think to yourself, right, 24 hours. If only you had 60 hours in a day. But even then you'll be like, that's too less. Go on.
People will abandon the mosque.
Masajid will become empty. Yeah? You guys are doing your best to fill the masjid, alhamdulillah. Yeah? We're trying to help slow that process down. But generally speaking, masajids are empty. At the back, you got your hand up, go on. Yep, yourself. Your name first? Tilawa, go on. So Israel will become bigger and Saudi Arabia will become smaller. Okay, give or take. Maybe I'll take that on board. Over here. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Scholars will pass away. People of knowledge will start to pass away. And now you'll notice that ignorant people, people that have not studied the religion at least. Let's speak for the religion. People that have not studied the Islamic sciences, you'll see them claiming to be scholars of the deen. And knowledge as a whole, scholarship declining, that caliber declining by the generation. At the back, go on, bismillah.
Gold will be found in the river Euphrates or something like that.
Yep. Now you're thinking slightly more advanced, and that's more towards, okay, even between here, you know when you say minor and major, there's like a middle one as well. And these middle ones will take place just before the majors. So like the drying of that river and gold being found under there, which is happening right now. If you're reading online or you're following, those signs are starting to become apparent. They're now actually drilling in those areas to pump oil. By gold, it could just mean value. It doesn't have to be literally gold as in gold, but it could just mean valuable items coming out from the ground. Go on.
And I don't know if it's separate, but apparently 500 people who tried to attempt to take it, and 99 people died or something like this.
Yeah, there are narrations of such. Yeah, like I said, there are those that will happen just before the major signs, and you're discussing those ones. Go on.
I'm pretty sure Masjid al-Aqsa will be taken over.
Masjid al-Aqsa will be taken over. Yes, Hadith does describe that Jerusalem, yeah, Israel, like the brother mentioned at the back there as well. Tilawa said that Israel will start to grow and their dominance will grow. The Hadith describes by Abu Hurairah, he says, one of the signs of the day of judgment will be that Muslims will lose control of Jerusalem, of Palestine. Yeah, it'll be occupied by Jews and they won't allow anyone else to come in. We're seeing that happening right now. Go on, Musa.
People will start worshipping idols again.
Idol worshipping will begin again. And over here, in fact, I have written here. You know the ones that are more closer to the day of judgment? Yeah, towards the majors. One of them is, I'll share with you. That which we have seen in Corona. Hajj will be very limited. And the hadith says specifically, people will not want to go to Hajj. Have we not seen that last year during Hajj? Yeah? If it's still not going to wake, if that's still not a wake-up call, then I don't know what you need to wake you up. Yeah? Because that's already happened. And Hadith describes that. Another one describes that just before the major signs, the Arabs will start idol worshipping again. Particularly speaking of the Arabs, the Prophet ﷺ said that the Arabs will start to worship idols. Now we have temples being built on Arab lands. Dubai has one of the biggest temples in the world right now. This is that sacred land. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that to get rid of all idol worshippers out of the Arab lands. This land needs to remain sacred and clean, pure from idol worshipping. But when it comes back in, it's going to be just before the major signs start to appear. Then we know, for example, tall buildings that overshadow the Kaaba. We've all heard of this, haven't we? Tall buildings that will overshadow the Kaaba. Is that not what we see with the clock tower? Yeah? It shadows the Kaaba. That's a sign of the day of judgment. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam described it's happening and we're seeing it right now. Now people go to the Kaaba, they don't take selfies with the Kaaba anymore. They take selfies with the clock. That's what's happening. Yeah? G.
Like murder and killing would be more like a
Murder and killing will become qital, will become common. Yes, so much killing will take place. What we saw in Iraq, what we saw in Syria, what we saw in Egypt, what's happening currently in Yemen. All of this killing has become so common, so normal, it just continues and continues and continues. That's what the Prophet ﷺ described. Then, okay, let me quickly finish off. People will be bad to their neighbors. The Prophet ﷺ said, one of the minor signs, people will be bad to their neighbors. Allahu Akbar. Global market. You know, today we live in a global market, yeah? We now say that the world has become a global village. You've heard that term. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam described it 1400 years ago, that the world will become a global village. Trading and traveling will become so easy, yeah, that what we now call global village, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam described it 1400 years ago. It's happening right now. So you know when we said the minor signs will start to fall like a bead from a tasbih, that's exactly what's happening. Okay, alcohol, we said, people not giving zakah, people not taking care in halal and haram. Yeah, a common example is a lot of the things we eat, especially those stuff that we get in packaging. Yeah, there are many ice creams. When it comes to summer, yeah, we can't have them because of the ingredient they use. How many of us actually check the ingredient before we buy? Yeah, mashallah, that's good.
I have the ice cream man.
Huh? We're not going to give names right now because I'm being recorded as well. Okay. So many sweets we buy, chocolates we buy, things that we consume. That's to do with what we eat. But when you grow slightly older and you now start to work and you're making money, people will not care whether their earnings are halal or haram. As long as the money is rolling in and I've got cash flow, so I'm financially stable, that's all that matters. I've got to have money in my account. Halal, haram, forget that. Money is money. Yeah, and that's all they want. When that becomes common, that's a sign of the day of judgment. Okay, storms and earthquakes will become common. Is that not what we're seeing now?
Yeah.
In fact, I'll share this with you guys. Scholars say, if an earthquake takes place and people die as a result of that earthquake, then it's a sign of the day of judgment. But if it's an earthquake but nobody dies, but it's just an earthquake, then Allah is shaking your iman and waking you up. If I can make the earthquake and nobody's died, then all it takes is a little bit more and several hundred thousands could die as well. Allah shows His powers through Mother Nature. When earthquakes take place, volcanoes, hurricanes, all of this happens. And a lot of this happens in America, by the way. They definitely need a wake-up call. But not that we don't. Of course we do as well. In the UK, when majority of the times when we have earthquakes, nobody really died. There's no accounts of that happening. But Allah is waking you up. We become so easy, so confident in our lifestyles. It's like, oh, don't worry, man. But Allah wakes you up. Okay, last one, and then we move on to the majors. Go on.
Women will outnumber men.
Women will outnumber men, yes. And the reason and the way that's happening is through war. Look at World War I, World War II. So many millions of men that took part, that died. Obviously, the male population is coming down. With all the wars that are taking place, that's exactly what's happening. And more women, and as a result, more fitna, more sin, everything goes right through the ceiling. But last one I mentioned here, then we'll move on to the majors. The Prophet ﷺ said, access to knowledge will become easy. Yeah, look at the internet, Google Scholar. You have access to every book on planet Earth right now. But ignorance will also be on the rise. Even though you got more books, more material, everything's on PDF, everything's online. You don't even have to buy books now. You don't need a library. Everything you can store in your devices. Yet, nobody's studying the deen. You know, before, scholars had to travel around the globe to seek knowledge. Now we have so much material, Islamic material, but nobody's interested in studying it. These are all signs, minor signs, and they will happen one after the other. Yeah, so easy, you don't even know what's hit you. Okay, major signs then. What are the major signs of the Day of Judgment? And by the way, guys, just for your own interest, this will be a monthly event, yeah? And we'll be discussing the major signs in these monthly events. Next month, which is end of year, the last Friday happens to be on the 31st of December. It's New Year's Eve and it's Friday night as well. And like I said, last Friday of each month is when we will have this event. Next month, we'll be discussing, and which I already have a confirmation, one of our guest speakers who is an expert in this field of eschatology regarding the signs of the Day of Judgment, Sheikh Asrar Rashid from Birmingham. Yeah, one of the leading scholars on this subject of the signs of the Day of Judgment. Yeah, he shall be coming down next month, Friday the 31st, and he'll be delivering the key talk, the main talk, and we'll be discussing, because it's Christmas, New Year, the second coming of Isa alayhi salam. So one of the major signs which I've helped you out with is the coming of Isa ibn Maryam. Here we are. One of the major signs that Isa alayhi salam will return. Come on, what are all the major signs? This should be easy. Zishan.
40 days of fog.
Ani?
40 days of fog.
40 days of fog. Well, okay. Yeah.
The Dajjal will be released and he'll ask you, do you want rain or fire? And you have to say fire because it's a trick.
Dajjal. Go on. I want to hear somebody different. The same people putting their hands up. Over here, go on. Adidas. Sorry. Your name? Hasnan. Hasnan, go on.
The sun will rise the wrong way.
The sun will rise from the sun. Oh, sun. From the west. Go on. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 more signs of the Day of Judgment. G. Yajuj, Majuj. Yes. Which if you want to search online, Gog, Magog. That's Yajuj, Majuj. Yeah, that's the term used. Go on. Another new face. Go on. Your name first. Give me your name. Ali. Go on.
I don't know his name, but Imam will come down from the heavens, and his name will be Muhammad, and he'll be a direct descendant from the Prophet Muhammad.
No. That you're talking about Imam Mahdi. A common misconception. Let me clarify. Imam Mahdi will come right before the major signs. He's not from the major signs of the Day of Judgment. It's a misconception. It's wrong. Okay, next one. But the one that will come from the sky onto the that minaret, that we talk of Isa alayhi salam. Go on.
A beast will come down from the sky.
Not from the sky, but there will be a beast. Yeah? This beast is, the description is, it's a horse with a human up to his navel. Rather than having a horse head, yeah, it will be human horse type of beast. Yeah? Stuff which we've already seen in movies. All that stuff. By the way, all these signs, yeah, have already been, you could see majority of them being displayed in movies. That's where they're taking all this stuff. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go on. 4 more. Another hand, a new face. Go on. Mahmoud.
Is one of them Tabut Sakina will be found?
Nope, that's a minor. Go on.
Oceans will dry up.
Ocean Drive, that's minor.
The Quran will disappear.
Minor. Go on.
Like 3 sync, like the same thing with the 3 colors.
That's the one. Okay. Times by 3. So this will make up 3 in total. There will be 3 major earthquakes. Yeah? Hadith says, one will happen in the west, one will happen in the far east, and one will happen around the Arab Peninsula. Yeah? So one of them being in the west, number two in the east, and finally, this is the order that the Prophet ﷺ gave us. The third one will be in Arabia. And as a result, what will happen is everything in the west will basically collapse, will sink. Nothing shall remain. Then in the east, everything will collapse and fall in, finish. Then one right in the middle, in Arabia, will take place. Everything will collapse. And the very, very last sign which the Prophet ﷺ described, and this is the last one, after this, the end. Yeah? The end of life on earth, which will be, and I put it in red for a reason, the fire. Hadith says this fire will start from Yemen, yeah, going up north towards where the Day of Judgment will actually take place. So the location. Okay, for the Day of Judgment, many people believe humans are going to fly to like another planet where it's going to take place. No, it's happening on Earth. We're not going somewhere different. Yeah, we'll remain on Earth. Our bodies will come out from this Earth again. Wal ba'thi ba'd al-maut. Remember what we learned in our madrasa from our tenets of faith? You'll rise from the earth again. You'll stay here. But where will you go? One opinion is Quds. Oh, what am I writing here? Palestine. So where will the Day of Judgment take place? It will be around Palestine. Or the one understanding is, for the advanced learners, that the central location will be Quds. But it's very possible it will span around the entire globe. Because every human that has ever lived, right from Adam alayhi salam till the last person to breathe on earth, every one of them will come to this central location, which we now call Mahshar, where the reckoning will take place. Yeah? These are, I've quickly summarized the minors and the majors. And the reason why we must believe in it is because, like we mentioned before, Quran, Hadith, Part of Iman, life after death, results day, justice, all of these things play a part when we say we believe in the major and minor signs of the Day of Judgment. Okay? That's my presentation over. I'm going to hand it over to Brother Adnan. If you could please come forward. Okay. Our format on a monthly basis will be similar to this, what we're doing right now. First we'll have a talk, we'll discuss, we'll make it interactive. Then we'll have workshops. When I say workshops, it means we'll split you guys into groups and we'll give you some problem scenarios. Okay.